video response. It's a video response to Gimmeaflakeman. I'm obviously gonna link and stuff like that, but it's gonna be a quick video response because I haven't finished watching the entire video. But it's he said something that really struck a chord that I was like, I have to answer this. And if you've never seen Gimmeaflakeman's videos, then go watch them because they're like a million times better than mine. And he actually lives in Japan right now and has done so for like quite a while. But anyway, he was talking about suicide because he got a message from a person, like a letter, well, an email, I guess, from a guy talking about suicide. And then what Victor Gimmeaflakeman asked was, like, what about tomorrow? Like, don't you want to know what's going to happen? Like, don't you want to see what's going to happen? Yeah, what's going to happen tomorrow, or like where your life's gonna go, if your enemies are gonna get their comeuppance, you know, things like that. And okay, so here's the deal. Like, I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as possible, but it's a long story. But basically, I'm 25 years old, and I've probably been suicidal for about 20 years. I can't really remember a time where I wasn't suicidal. You know, it's always been like at the back of my mind. I think I was 7 the first time I consciously remember thinking I want to die, which is pretty horrific. Like, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, but it's really horrific. Like, when you think about it, it's basically horrible because no 7-year-old should like have to feel like that. And there are a billion reasons. Well, they're not really, but I'm not going to go into all the reasons. But basically, I've been suicidal all my life. I've tried several times. I think at this point it's like up to 5 times, you know, which is horrible. I'm just lucky to be alive, I think, in so many ways. And I've self-harmed a lot. I haven't done so in about 9 months, almost 10 months, which is a record for me because I started self-harming, consciously self-harming when I was 14. But I've pretty much always self-harmed. It's a difference. Like, when I was a kid, I would self-harm through other methods, not like what you usually think about self-harming, you know, like cutting or burning or whatever. But I have done it since I was like really, really young. But then when I was 14, I started consciously doing it, like realizing what I was actually doing and how to do it effectively, which sounds horrible. But yeah, and for me, there's been a lot of times where, you know, obviously since I've been suicidal, and now it comes to the answering of the question, like, what about tomorrow? But the point is, when I've been suicidal, it's been like, either I don't want to know about tomorrow because I thought it can only get worse from here, like it can't possibly get any better. It's been like this forever and ever, and it's always going to be like this, and it's like, why put up with it? You know, I've thought that a lot of times, like, why do I even put up with being alive when being alive is so freaking horrible? Like, when I'm in pain every day, when waking up is like your worst nightmare, and breathing hurts, and just basically being alive is like the worst thing you can imagine, then you pretty much don't care about tomorrow because you don't care because it's not going to get better. Like, that's what you think. That's about what I thought a lot of times. You know, it's not going to get any better, so why do I care? You know, it's not worth it. And that's another thing. Like, even if you thought maybe it'll get better, it's like, often, is it going to be worth it though? Like, what if I have to spend another 25 years being miserable and in pain and hating myself and hating everyone else and hating being alive and hating like every single thought that I have and every single like feature that I have? Or, you know, like, is it gonna be worth it? I think that's a question that you ask yourself a lot, because I know that I have friends who've been or are suicidal, and is it worth it is basically the question answering, you know, the what about tomorrow question. It's like, yeah, but is it worth it though? I mean, I now think that it is worth it, and I'm super duper happy that I am alive, and I am super duper, like, it's insane because I've spent so much time thinking it's not gonna be a tomorrow, like, not being able to plan ahead. Like, if someone asked me what are you gonna do next week, I genuinely couldn't answer because I genuinely felt like I might be dead next week because I really don't want to be alive. And that's horrible. It's horrible when you live like on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, because you're thinking, Christmas, I can't plan Christmas, that's 2 months away, I'm probably going to be dead by Christmas, why would I plan it? Like, hello. You know, that's kind of how I've been for a long time. And that's when it comes to, you know, what about tomorrow? But if you feel like it's not going to be worth it, or tomorrow isn't going to be worth it, it's not going to, you know, because I've been bullied a lot, and there are a lot of terrible people. Like, I have been suicidal because of reasons that comes from like within, because I have Asperger's syndrome, and I've suffered from depression and a lot of things like that haven't been anyone's fault, that haven't been like the cause of anyone else, they haven't been like the result of someone else treating me badly. um, and I'm getting really fidgety because this is such a, it is kind of a sensitive subject, you know, and it's hard to talk about yourself this way, but I'm going ahead and doing it anyway. But basically, a lot of things haven't been my fault, but a lot of things have been, you know, because I was bullied, because I was horribly mistreated. I'm not going to go into details. I really don't want to. I think it's revealing enough that I'm just talking about this at all. But, you know, and at that point, um, it's just, you don't care. It's like, even if everyone who's ever treated me badly is gonna get their comeuppance, or they're gonna get punished, or karma is gonna get them, or God, or whatever you believe in, it's just like, it's not gonna matter, because my pain is still gonna be there. Like, they still caused me so much pain and so much misery and so much. I think what I hate most about the people who mistreated me is the way they made me feel about myself. Not just that they mistreated me and called me horrible names, or, you know, but a lot because they made me believe what they said. They made me loathe everything about myself. They made me think that I wasn't worth, you know, I wasn't worthy of being alive. Like, breathing wasn't something I should do because I wasn't good enough. And that's another reason why the whole question of what about tomorrow just, it doesn't always cut it, because a lot of the times you think, I don't deserve tomorrow, you know. You think, even if a day would come when people who mistreated me get what they deserve, and I get happy, or, you know, I marry someone, have kids, whatever, it's just, you think, I don't deserve it. I thought for a very long time that the reason why I am so miserable is because I deserve to be so very miserable. You know, wasn't I was in an abusive relationship for 5 months. Those were some of the worst months of my life, like, seriously. And I thought for a very long time afterward that I deserved those 5 months, that I wasn't good enough to be in a relationship that was good. You know, I wasn't smart enough, or pretty enough, or interesting enough, or funny enough. You know, I was just, or good enough. You know, I was just such a horrible person who had such horrible qualities, and I was so stupid and so ugly and so fat and so worthless in every single way, that I just didn't deserve any better. And, you know, that's a lot of the time what it is. Like, you don't deserve tomorrow because you deserve misery, and you sometimes you feel like you kind of deserve death. You know, I used to think that because I used to think such low thoughts about myself, that I thought, it's not, you know, I'm not worthy of being alive, so why am I even here? You know, I've asked myself that so many times, like, why am I even awake? Why am I alive? Why am I breathing? Why am I around? And when you're feeling that way, tomorrow just doesn't matter. You know, it's just, well, it matters, but it doesn't weigh enough. Like, it doesn't have enough importance in your life for you to be able to think like that. You know, when you're thinking, you know, when you're either thinking it's not worth it because it's always going to be like this, or I'm going to be like this for another 10 years, and then maybe I'll find happiness, and I just can't take another 10 years of this. Or when you feel like you're not worth it, when you're just not good enough to be allowed to be alive, because I felt like that a lot of times. And then it's just, tomorrow just doesn't matter. Tomorrow is like stupid. Tomorrow is like, it's like asking someone, well, why don't you play the lottery every single day because you might win? That's kind of how it feels. It's like the odds are against you, or yeah, you just, it's not gonna happen, so why bother? You know, that's kind of how it feels. Like, why am I gonna play the lottery every single day and spend all that money when it's not gonna matter? I'm not gonna win anyway. Someone else is gonna win, and I'm not. I'm just gonna lose a lot of money on it and be miserable. It's a bad comparison to make, because being suicidal is not like not winning the lottery, but you know, it's kind of, that's how it feels. That's how it feels for me. I'm not going to speak for every single person who's ever been suicidal, because I can't. I can speak for some because I've talked to some about this. You know, I've been to therapy, and I have friends, like I said, who have been or are suicidal, but I've been going on forever and ever. But that's kind of what I'm just trying to say. Like, tomorrow, just sometimes it's not worth it, and sometimes you're not worth it. I mean, that's what you feel. That's not true. I think every single person always deserves tomorrow, and every single person deserves happiness. You know, I think a person's worth isn't based on who they are, like, you know, the color of their skin, or what quality, how smart they are. You know, I don't think that at all. I think it's our actions that kind of reflect on who we are as people. But I'm not going to get into that. But basically, that's what I'm just trying to ramble on to say, that tomorrow just, it's nothing. You know, that's how it's been for me a lot of times. It's not like that anymore. I'm super happy now. Well, I'm not super happy, but I'm experiencing happiness for the first time in my life, like proper real happiness that comes from kind of within, and not the kind of happiness you get from doing something that makes you happy. Like, you know, I can go to a movie and be really happy about having seen the movie. I've met celebrities and I've been like super duper excited, but that's not really the same thing as just being happy because you're happy. But I'm experiencing that now, and it's super duper weird. It's super awesome, but it's so weird because I never really had before, and now I'm making plans for my freaking future. Like, I'm gonna go to Japan. 25 days. In 25 days, I'm going to Japan, something I've wanted to do since I was 14. And I'm gonna study there for at least a year or two, and I'm gonna do my very, very hardest to try and get a teaching job, like as an English teacher. And even if it's not gonna work out, because I don't know that, it's just the fact that I want to try, and the fact that I'm planning ahead is kind of a massive step for me, because I've come to a point where tomorrow does matter, where even if I have bad days, because I will always have bad days, you know, I do have Asperger's, it's gonna, you know, I'm gonna have that for the rest of my life. I'm gonna have really bad days. I'm probably gonna have thoughts about death and things like that for the rest of my life, because that's just been such a big part of who I am. But just the fact that I can ignore that, and I can be like, well, I don't care about any of that, because I do want tomorrow. I do want to know what's going to happen. I do want to know where things are going to lead. I do want to see how happy I might actually get. You know, I want to know what's going to happen with my life. I do want to see, you know, I just want to see where I'm gonna go, what road I'm gonna go down. It sounds so cheesy, but that's kind of where I am right now, and that's super duper exciting. But it's not easy when you are suicidal, when you are proper depressed, when you are, you know, all those kind of horrible things. So yeah, that's what I've been rambling on. I'm sorry, I've been talking for 40 minutes. I wasn't supposed to. This was supposed to be like a really short video response, but it's a big subject. It's a heavy subject. It's heavy for me, and it's important for me because I've dealt with this for such a long time, and I know a lot about it. And to me, it's just like, I don't know. I'm all for like spreading awareness. Like, that sounds so stupid, but answering questions about it, helping people understand how it is, helping people understand how we feel, how we think, how we work. Because that's important to me, because what was worst, I think, about being suicidal was that no one seemed to understand anything. Like, no one wanted to show me any kind of support, and no one wanted to even try to understand what it was like, and to sit around feeling like nothing is worth anything. Nothing is gonna make me happy. I'm not worth anything. Nothing I ever say is smart or good or anything. And you sit around and you're filled with so much. Either you're filled with hatred for yourself and everyone else and the world in general, or you're just void of all kinds of emotions. But when you're at that point and no one even attempts to understand that, no, I don't want to go out today because I want to die, or when, no, it sounds stupid, but breaking that glass made me want to kill myself because I'm so freaking miserable. Or when you're arguing with someone and it's not about you being mad at them, you're just so mad at everything or at yourself. Or when people ask you to go out and do fun things and you're like, no, I'm gonna sit at home and be void of emotions and just stare at the wall because why am I alive? You know, when no one understands anything, or they don't even want to understand, or they can't understand, which isn't always their fault, but then it just makes it harder. Okay, it just makes it super duper hard, and it makes it like it's the worst pain ever, I think. Not the worst, but it's really horrible, because what you really need is just for someone to sit down with you and listen and be like, I understand, and then just help you, kind of. I don't even know, where am I going with this? I'm sorry, this has gone so off track, but that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, basically, it's not as easy as what about tomorrow. Like, genuinely, it's not that easy, and I'm sorry for making the longest video ever. And if anyone's even watched my rambling thing, if Gimmeaflakeman, Victor, if you're watching this, then I'm sorry for the long video. I'm sorry for, like, the personal information. You probably don't care. But I'm just trying to answer the questions as well as I know how. And I am a rambler, a chronic rambler, so whatever. I'm gonna stop now. Thanks for watching, if anyone finished watching this. Sorry for all the personal information. Go watch Gimmeaflakeman, he's really great. He's really funny. And, you know, in 25 days I'm gonna be in Tokyo. Woohoo! So, bye!